very much. We are talking about overcoming depression and anxiety. So, let me have the honor to call. So the first lady I'm going to call here, she's the CEO of Asong's Foundation. I have known her for a very long time. We're in Pan-Afric together. She's a big sister, she's a nurse, she's an auntie, she's everything you can think about. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Asong Lillian until she turns up. So, he's a counselor, a guidance counselor in the University of Buea. Please put your hands together for Mr. Agbo Matelot. Stop. And your humble self, MS, to host, like to get the juice out of these two people. I will try my best to do it, you know, to please everybody. And you guys can ask as much questions as possible. It's not a, how can I say? It's not a monologue. Mr. Agbo and Mrs. Asong, you're welcome. Oh, sorry, Miss. Miss Asong, you're welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing okay.
You're looking so nice.
Thank you.
How can I want to be like you when I grow up. Please tell me the secret.
Be happy.
Wow.
Just be happy and free.
Be stress-free.
Stress-free.
But how can you be stress-free? In this, our society that there is stress every day, depression, anxiety, how?
We always say this. When you think a lot, when you're anxious about everything, there's nothing you can change about everything that's happening around us. So the only thing you have to do is just let go, and then, you know, celebrate life. Life is all about celebrating it. Celebrate life, let go. If you get to be to that stage where you feel you cannot take it anymore, talk to someone
About it.
Someone you can trust, because there are a lot of people out there. You just say something today and then it's on social media.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So celebrate life. That's what Auntie Lee tells us. They celebrate life. So Mr. Agbo, you're looking so nice. Like your suit. I don't know what to say. Like I'm short of words.
My wife said it before.
God. So I don't need to say it again. She said everything. Fine. So what do you think about the topic?
I think it's a good topic. It's a topic that a lot of people have brought in denial that it doesn't exist, we don't experience it. But I think it's something that we live every single day. It's affecting the adolescent, the teenagers, it's affecting the adults, it's affecting the grandpas and grandmas.
It's affecting everybody.
It's affecting everybody.
Great. So what is it? What is depression?
I think depression, if you want to look at it, let's bring it very simple. Depression is a disorder. It's something that does not really work the way it is. And you can only look at it from the perspective that if it's not affecting your daily routine, then you can't look at it as depression. It has to affect your daily routine to a level where you can't do anything, or you're stuck or stagnant. That's when you know that this particular thing that is affecting you. It should cause an impact on your daily activity. I think that's depression.
Alright. So Auntie Lee, one of the people that it doesn't cause something on their daily activities, but maybe they're strong enough. You know, there are people who are naturally strong that can cope with so much. Like personally, like, there are so many things I cannot cope with. There are people that are not bothered. Like, is that still depression?
Yeah, it does happen. Just like you said that if it doesn't affect your daily activity, there are some people that you won't even, just like I said to you before, they won't even know that they're depressed. I know somebody who was going through depression, had the character you're talking about, very strong,
always
thinking
smiling.
that she was coping, And at the end, it resulted to a stroke.
Wow.
Because she had been depressed, she talked to a few people. She could not understand what was going through, what she was going through. She could not understand why it was happening, the things that were happening to her were happening the way it was. You understand? She went out with her daily activities, everything. She could cry sometimes and stuff.
In her room.
She was actually very depressed because I don't want to go ahead of time, but some consequences, you have hypertension. So this was one of the aspects that arose, hypertension, that consequently led to the stroke.
Okay.
So at that time, maybe she thought she could cope, but she was not coping because
She wasn't
her
strong.
her system was able to prove to her that no, you were not coping, you were not able to manage this situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you guys feel that some people can be depressed for the wrong reasons? When I say for the wrong reasons, you go through depression, you actually feel all the symptoms and everything, and it's a dumb reason. Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, you feel like your reason is valid, but when someone hears about it, it's like, is that all?
I think there's nothing like a dumb reason. If there's a reason to cause someone to be depressed, it's always a reason which is very important and valid. Take for example a woman who's been married for years and can't be fruitful. Some other people will say, well, marriage is all about you and your husband. Children will come and it's time. So why do you worry? But it touches more on understanding also your personality. Now, depression will affect, the way depression will affect a sanguine will be different from the way it affects a melancholic or a choleric. So it touches on that aspect. So if there have to be a reason, a melancholic can be depressed for like the little things. It can touch on his self-esteem and you feel like, no, somebody used to work and affects, already has a low self-esteem.
Please, I'm not getting you. Please, are we on the same page as to who a melancholic and a sanguine is? Everybody? No. So please, you have to expatiate on that because I actually stopped to.
Okay, it's fine. I think if we want to look at, basically, you are a combination of two personalities. From what you inherit from your mother and what you inherit from your father. Now, if your dad is a melancholic, your mom is a sanguine, there's a possibility that you are a melancholic sanguine. Now, when we talk about temperament and everything, it's just personality genes from parents. Things you inherit. And those things are very, very, very important because it affects every part of your life. Now, depression comes from a melancholic, different from the way it comes from a sanguine. Sanguine, I can be the same feel like I just, flash it out. I don't care. But more of a melancholic would think about it since they are more internalized people who have meetings with themselves. They tend to have more of those conversations again and again and again. It becomes a flashback and it triggers and it affects them.
Yeah. Exactly. Anthony, do you have something to add to that?
No.
Okay. So right away we're going to drive into COVID-19.
Okay.
So with the coming of the pandemic, it caused a lot of effects on mental health. So much. First of all, the fact that everybody had to stay at home for so long. People who are used to hustling, running up and down, you have to stay in the house. Maybe you have a nagging wife or a nagging husband, you have to bear with them. Children who make a lot of noise, you have to cope with everything. And generally, you have parents, especially single mothers, who hustle, go through everything for their children. And they are seeing themselves in a situation where they can't provide what they provided on a daily basis, and now they get depressed. They start beating on the children. They start saying harsh words to their spouse. I mean, those who are married, they start saying harsh words to their spouse, and everything just turns around. It has a way it affects your daily life, and it drains you. Because some of these people, yes, you're speaking about stroke, hypertension, but sometimes it doesn't get to that. It gets to suicide.
Yeah.
For instance, those who cannot cope with it. Because I read on the news, there is a popular South African artist. He had a girlfriend. I mean, like, and these people that commit suicide, social media always sees them to have a perfect life. They don't have any issue. And one day you just understand somebody has committed suicide. You're like, so I don't, what do you think about that? Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just like you've almost touched on some parts that we're supposed to, read down. The pandemic came and there was lockdown. Everybody had to be confined at home. Being confined at home implies no one is going out. There are some places even they said before you want to go, like some people like doing exercises. Those are things that can help you cope with maybe anxiety or stress. But there are some towns that they even told you not to go out. Or if you want to even go out, you should put on a face mask. There are people who can't breathe with that. So it was just like some kind of prison to some people.
Yeah.
It was just like prison. You have been in cage. You have been caged.
The fear of death.
Yes, that is it. So normally we expected to have a lot of depression from that. The people, like mothers, just like you explained, who were going out, fathers. There are some men who are not tolerant with children, making noise. They don't want to even hear that. So at that time, a lot of anxiety, anger, tension. Those are characteristics of anxiety. Obviously, they will start showing off things like that. And anxiety, depression is actually some kind of effect from anxiety. So when anxiety starts setting in, it will lead now to depression. And I think a lot of people face that during this period because they were confined, they were kind of being caged.
Yeah, what she said, I just want to support some of the aspects of the point. Remember, there's a rat race we always try to get ourselves into. Just the fact that we have to get up every morning, we have something to do, and out of a sudden everything stops. Now, psychologically, just going out is a therapy. Yeah, because most people, even when they retire, if they don't work on it, they easily get the lifespan reduces. So going out, interacting with people, it's already a very powerful therapy that it can even ask to, if you ask some people to work for 90 years, they work. But the day you confine them, you find that it's difficult for them to cope. One, they are stressed. Now, when the stress of the COVID-19 came or the pandemic showed up, we're doing a trauma call center in Yaoundé. We could get calls from everywhere in Cameroon. It was not an easy task. The local youth corner, it was not easy. We talked to people, and since these were people who had buried their depression, COVID-19 came and exposed it. Now it was difficult because they were going out and coming in. Now when it stopped, that no going out, it becomes now dangerous. They sit now, like I said, a melancholy will stay at home. It's easy for a melancholy to commit suicide. Because they have an internalized discussion and meetings with themselves every single minute. I can be discussing with her and her mind's drive to a different aspect of life. So it's very, very important. COVID-19 came, it had a huge impact on the psychological aspect of humans. Right? The amazing thing is, social media also play a part.
Yes.
More of it, people can stay home, social media also play. You look at people, you're also depressed, other people. When you're in America, then you see other people in Cameroon living their life, and you're like, why? It affects. So all those aspects is what COVID-19 brought. Now it touches on those aspects of your job. Even there are people who feel like going to church. It's a therapy for them. They go,
and now they're forced to stop.
And now since they can't do it alone, they are depressed already at home. So it's good to look at those aspects based on your career, your work, your social life, and your spiritual life.
All right, thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yes, miss.
Can you say depression have symptoms? If they do, what are those symptoms?
Yeah, they do. They do have symptoms. There are a lot of them. For some people, you start eating a lot. For some people, you start eating less. For some people, you get insomnia. That you cannot sleep. You have sleep disturbances. Some people you sleep so much. Some people you don't sleep at all. Then you have that feeling of dejection, like you're hopeless.
Yeah.
You think that there's nothing that can be done. So that's why you find some people who go through depression, and then they think about, they have suicidal thoughts. And there are just a lot of them.
And to also add, you feel like you're helpless. Nothing is working. There's this deep sadness in you. It even affects your physical appearance. Now, when you go through this stuff, some people might deny. Now, like I said, everything that works with a personality, with a human, is traceable back to your personality. For a sanguine, I can cover it up. I can be depressed, then I just cover. I mentioned that, live my life, then all of a sudden I just break down. Now, if you're my client and for your session, I ask you to fill the forms. I ask you questions. Some people will take drugs, based on those aspects. When you fill the form, I easily detect whether you're going through depression, anxiety, your sleep. It touches on those areas. So I think that helplessness, sadness, your mood swing, also sometimes it touches on so many aspects that Chad mentioned.
Alright, thank you very much. Before I continue, please don't hesitate to fill your glass. There is no protocol. Whenever you feel like you're thirsty, just behind there, feel free. So, the next thing you mentioned it while talking. Most people, when I shared the flyer to them, they were like, wow, it's an amazing topic, but it doesn't concern me. Like, so many people are in denial of depression. Is it because they are scared of the effects, or they don't just want the society to term them depressed?
Okay, let me take it from that angle. Remember Tila was supposed to be in this show?
Yes.
Now, Tila, when she shared it, she was depressed, social media bullied her.
Yes.
Now, I followed that story behind the scene right up to the level of like, what's happening? Is it that when you're depressed, when you're going through, stressors, you don't feel like... So social media is a community that was supposed to receive help, but it's bullied. It's because, number one, our environment has not really come to that place where they can understand that mental health is key. That's number one. Number two, there's a lot of conspiracy of silence. Conspiracy of silence. People want to leave, and when it's happening, they're just silent about it. They don't want to talk about it. There's this denial, and it's truly affects. It's truly affects us. So I think that's it. The culture of also walking to a counselor or a mental specialist is not there. It touches on those aspects, and those are some of the areas I think some people will see the flyer like it doesn't concern them. But these are people that if you want to diagnose, it's either they are depressed in one. Normally, let me be honest, as humans, a lot of uncertainties. If I have to move from this job to another job, I easily get depressed for a short while because I don't know the outcome. If I have to move to a country, I easily get depressed.
Yes.
Because I don't know the uncertainties that are there.